So I'll maybe just pitch in now and again.
No, you do the...
No, Ken, this is about you. It's not about me. This is absolutely not about me. It's about you.
No, it's about you. It's about us. We're a team. You keep saying we're a team.
Right. I don't know. Start. Ask a question. Oh, this is a squeaky chair.
I'll just do my intro bit and then...
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Welcome to our Findhorn Barrel, an independent podcast exploring the people and projects of the Park Ecovillage Findhorn. In each episode, we meet individuals, groups and organisations shaping life in this unique corner of Scotland. From eco-builders and gardeners to artists, teachers, healers and social entrepreneurs. We'll hear their stories, what inspires them, and how they're navigating both the beauty and the challenges of living and working here. I'm your host, Alex Wright, and today I'm joined by Susie Minto and Ken Walker. I was really inspired by the Ukulele Festival that you ran in September this year and how you managed to break through the malaise of COVID and the fires in the park and just got on with it anyway.
Yes, Alec, I've always been a doer rather than a talker. I'm not very good at meetings. So when I see an opportunity to do something that I believe will benefit the community, benefit people in the community and benefit the community as an organisation, I just want to go on and do it. So the Ukulele Festival really has its genesis in a conversation in the house, just about 2 years ago, with one of the board members from Gaia, Lonnie Gamble. Lonnie was staying with us while he was at a board meeting for Gaia, and he came in at night and he saw my guitar and he said, "Oh, you're a musician." So he picked up my guitar and I got out my accordion and we played a bit together, just a little jam session. And then after it, he said, "Oh, my real instrument is ukulele." And I said, "Oh, I've got one of them. Why don't you come over tomorrow night after your meeting and we'll have a little jam session?" So I got the ukulele out and there were a few of us there from the park just playing music together. And afterwards, in a sort of jokey manner, I said to Lonnie, "Wouldn't it be great to have a ukulele group at the park?" I had a ukulele. I didn't really play it, but I put the word out on Park Connected and said, "Is anyone wanting to learn to play the ukulele? Come along to the house." And 12 people signed up. They came along to our house at East Wind and we started to learn ukulele together. And as well as the 12 who came along to the lesson, I had 12 people in reserve for the next lesson class I was doing. And by the time I finished that class, I had another 12. So I think in total there were 48 people came to East Winds to learn to play the ukulele. And from that, the ukulele group started at the park.
2 years on, Ken has run 4 beginners classes at the park, which didn't only interest park people, lots of folk from Forres and even further afield came to learn to play ukulele. So the first thing was a beginner's class, and out of it we established an actual group, which was called Findhorn Ukulele Group. So the first recruits were graduated into the beginning of the Findhorn Ukulele Group. So then we were simultaneously running, I think, fortnightly alternative classes and the group. And each time a class finished, they would graduate into the group, so that after 2 years, the group has fully grown. And what we do now is have new music all the time. So our repertoire, I think you estimated we have about 150 songs that we've learned, but really with ukulele, and Ken will maybe say a bit more about that, about the simplicity of the few chords that you need to actually be able to access thousands of songs.
Yes, Lonnie mentioned a site on the internet called ozbecause.com, run by a man called Jim Carey, and Jim is a ukulele player, and he set up a site with 4,500 songs, And his site gets, we asked him at the festivals, it's 6.5 million hits a year from all over the world. So that was such a resource. It's simple and it's free. We just went onto the site, chose easy songs, printed them up, and then we would use them. And we're still doing that. We're still using Us Because for new material.
And we were so excited about it, and we told him about the festival we were running, and he decided he wanted to come, so we offered him and his wife a complimentary tickets. So they came to Findhorn, and Ken has been really strong in promoting the generosity of Jim's willing spirit to create this huge resource online, which absolutely supports probably every ukulele player in the world, one way or another, even as a stepping stone. And so he was a very honoured guest. It's like we were bowing at his feet, because without Jim, okay, somebody else would have done it, but he's filled that gap. He is one of the singular people resourcing ukulele players around the world. It was fantastic. It was a deep honour that he said he was willing to drive all the way up to Findhorn, because when we were away down in England, folk were saying, Findhorn? What's Findhorn? Where's Findhorn? Away up there. Do you want me to go away up there? I'm not travelling that far. And we said, well, we've just come from there to come to see you.
We did visit 4 or 5 festivals early in 2025, the smallest being fairly local in Cromarty. I think there were 40 people at that. And Shrewsbury, there were 500 people at it. So we went along to these festivals to see what worked, and to be honest, to see what didn't work before putting our programme together. I was amazed at how popular ukulele is. Most of the primary schools in Moray now offer ukulele classes for children. So it covers everyone from sort of 6 up to 90. I think the youngest person we had at the festival was 12 or 13, and the oldest was 87. So it's very much intergenerational, the ukulele. And it's fun. And I think that's something that I've really latched on to. It's not about music. It's not about playing perfectly.
One of the things that Ukulele Saz, Ukulele Saz, who was performing at our festival, when she performed with the group she'd worked with over the weekend, she said to everybody in the audience on the Sunday night at the big celebration that was filmed, that the ukulele is a community instrument. It has the power to bring people together. And she said to everybody in the audience, if you're not already a ukulele player, I promise you will one day become one. And it's very much like that. It's captivating. We open our doors of our ukulele sessions to people who just love singing. So we have quite a few people who just come along for the fun of singing. And then it helps the players, when they're concentrating on new songs, to focus on the playing, so then the singers swell up the sound. And pretty much everybody who's come along as a singer has graduated or migrated to becoming a ukulele player. And so we have a couple of folk right now in the new class that Ken is running in Forest. So he's now on to beginner class 5, and he's got 2 more in the next 6 months that'll be happening. So by this time next year, Ken will have doubled the number of people he'll have taught to ukulele. But the critical thing is, it's appealing to people, as I say, who might just want to sing because they don't regard themselves as musical, and then they get lured in by what appears to be something fairly simple, only 4 strings and a few little finger movements here and there, and they think, oh, I could do this, and they dare to give it a try, and then they move into a beginners group, and then before they know it, they're performing. And we'll be performing at Meadowlark Care Home again this month, and we've done that several times, and they love having us there, and we're usually multi-instrumental when we're there, and lots of singers. So it's an attractive instrument. And it's small, it doesn't take up a lot of space in the house. It's not like a guitar or a set of drums, and you've got to find almost a room to hold your music when you play bigger instruments.
There's 47 or 48 ukuleles in this house. Some of them for use at the classes, admittedly, but they say about ukulele that your first ukulele is an entry point drug. As soon as you've got one, you want another, because they come in all different shapes and types. I think the good thing about ukulele is it's inexpensive. I've just bought some ukuleles in for the next class, good quality ukuleles that are £25. I can't think of another musical instrument, really. A tin whistle, perhaps, but even a good tin whistle will cost more than that. I can't think of another instrument that you can get for that money and you can learn so quickly. I try my classes. Class number 1, the very first class, how to tune the instrument, how to hold the instrument. But I like the people to go away from the very first class being able to play and sing a song. And it does happen. Every class I've run, people have gone away after week 1 and they can play something. It's not an instrument that you have to spend 2 or 3 years learning before you can start enjoying. With your family, with your friends, with your grandchildren, with your parents, for younger people. So, the Ukulele Festival. Initially we thought we could we've got our own group, and there's a group in Fauqueburs and there's a group in Inverness, perhaps, so we get a few people from each of them. We might have 25 people for a day. So we hired the Sunshine Room, and we thought, yes, we could do this for a day, and we put a website together, and we put out just basically on Park Connected, and for people, and a few other Facebook pages, just to say we're thinking of doing this. And Susie does the admin. How many people booked within the first couple of weeks?
Well, okay, so Ken, we started this planning idea about November or December, just before we went away on a wee holiday. And he just put out for expressions of interest, and we had 30 expressions of interest. And we imagined that in the Sunshine Room at East Twins, folk sitting in a circle or even in rows, you would have about 40 folk comfortably if you add in instruments and music stands and paraphernalia. So we thought, right, okay, if we've got 30 expressions of interest in a room that has a capacity not much more than that, and this is only an expression of interest, not a call for actual bookings, hang on, maybe we need to step this up a little. So I contacted Universal Hall, find out if the hall was available on a particular weekend. I think we'd already decided it was going to be September. And it turned out they were free and that we could book the whole hall for the entire weekend without a loss of money, without unreturnable deposits and things like that. So I said to Ken, right, let's hold both venues. And if the numbers get really strong, then we know we've reached the tipping point and we'll go for the hall and we'll make it the whole weekend. So Ken then did all his usual designing of website stuff that he just does in his sleep just about. We worked on the programme content. Ken started scouring through YouTube to get a hold of somebody who might at least be an anchor tutor. So we came across Sarah Farron, or Ukulele Saz, as she likes to be known professionally. We spoke to her also in just late November, early December. And she said, one of the questions she asked was, so you know the ukulele scene in Britain? And we said, no, we haven't been anywhere yet. We haven't been to a single event other than the ones that happen in our house, but we're having loads of fun in our house. And she said, oh, that's interesting. Anyway, so she gave it some thought and she confirmed within a few days that she would definitely come. But she advised us to get out and about. So come the spring of 2025, we got out and about, as Ken has already mentioned. And by then, I think it was probably January or February, we made the website precise with a booking form. And And we definitely had 30 to 40 bookings within days. It took off. And Ken, being the master of social media, or a master of social media, he joined every single Facebook group that had anything to do with ukuleles, all over Britain, all over the world, and including a rather global one itself that's called, and listen, A Band on Ship, Abandon Ship. Okay, so there's a couple of people who more or less spend the entire year after year, on cruises, hopping from one cruise to the next, being ukulele tutors. So then we discover there's a whole set of people whose life work is spent cruise hopping and getting free cruises going around the world. So then Abandon Ship became a super linking point. And as you know, Facebook, with its sharing capacity, you can then share and share and share and share and share. And then you get into groups that have multiple thousands of followers. Then you get folk who cotton on to what you're doing and they share for you. We did the entire festival by ourselves, just me and Ken, putting it all together. I did all the admin, I did all the correspondence, I organised everything to do with the peripheral events and venue stuff. Ken sat with his laptop and just went zap, 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 zap on Facebook. So without going into any other areas exactly, we simply started from scratch, without databases, without any street cred. Nobody knew who Ken Walker and Susie Minto were in the world of ukuleles. We simply used our common sense, our capacities to work with technology and to understand how things happen.
Well, we did do one piece of publicity other than Facebook. We ordered up some very simple A5 flyers. And Susie sat down one day and hand wrote 200 envelopes to every music shop in Scotland. There are 200 music shops in Scotland. And we popped a few flyers to every music shop. And people were contacting us and saying, we saw a poster about Findhorn in the music shop in Glasgow or in Edinburgh or in Aberdeen. So that was it was targeted.
Yeah.
It was targeted.
I looked up Google Maps. I just opened Google Maps and wrote music shop, Scotland. And then, so of course you get all this stuff. So I didn't keep a copy of what I wrote, but it was brilliant. And we would do it again. It was a nice afternoon's work, just writing 200 envelopes.
I think the lesson for anyone wanting to do a conference or a weekend workshop is to target your audience. So we really honed in on ukulele players in Scotland, in the UK, in Europe, and in the world. So the website was getting hits from Australia, from New Zealand, from Canada, from Hong Kong, from China. We didn't come to the festival necessarily, but very quickly people started asking, what's this Findhorn place? So they were jumping off from the Ukulele Festival to find out about Findhorn. And a lot of people very quickly said, I've heard about that place. That's an interesting place. I want to go there. I think another thing we found post-festival, it seems so long ago, it was just last month, the number of people who posted on their own social media saying that Findhorn is a beautiful place, how peaceful it was, how relaxed it was, how friendly it was. And I think going forward, that will do the community good, in that it's the community's changed, the park has changed with the demise of the foundation. And I really believe that we've got to be outward looking as a community. We need to get different people here. The people who have been coming to Findhorn for the last 50, 60 years even, a lot of them are very old now. They may not be able to get back here. So we need new people. And we need to latch on to things, whether it's ukulele or dance with the Sacred Dance Festival, or other types of music or theatre, to be able to say to the out there people, this is what we have to offer. We don't just offer meditation. We don't just offer spirituality. We have so much to offer as a community. There are problems. There are problems at the park as regards accommodation. There are problems at the park as regards catering. Since the community centre burnt down, how do you feed people coming? So there's going to be a limit on numbers. Now for 2026, we're limiting our numbers to 150. For accommodation, we'll have people in the guest lodge and the bunkhouse. The caravan park, people bring motorhomes, people are renting caravans, people are going into bed and breakfast at the park, in Findhorn Village, in Forres and in Elgin. They're booking quite widely to be able to come to the festival. So if the community is going to look at anything, it's how to improve accommodation and catering. We've got things to offer the world. It's the logistics of running bigger events that we need to look at now. We've got the Universal Hall. The Universal Hall is a marvellous venue. State-of-the-art lighting, state-of-the-art sound, video available, Zoom broadcasting available, all in that venue. We want to get people here. We want to get them in to enjoy what we have at Findhorn. The facilities, the spirit, the love, and the land. So let's get people here. And if it's a comedy weekend, or a poetry weekend, or a ukulele festival, get them here first, and then we can show them what we have to offer.
What would you say to someone, they have an idea for an event or a conference or a workshop, but they're afraid of taking that first step?
I think the first thing is to know what you want to achieve. Think of your numbers that you want to cater to. Is it 10? Is it 50? Is it 100? Investigate the market, first of all. Is there a demand? There's no point putting on events or conferences if there's no demand for it. So ukulele is a fairly niche thing. But throwing the net wide enough, you can get enough people. Social media. There's been a lot of talk at the park in recent months about mailing lists. I think mailing lists are very 20th century. I'm on thousands of mailing lists. I seldom look at most of them. I'm on social media all the time. Think about how you present on social media, how to make it interesting. Use video, use pictures, tell people what you're going to offer them, and be courageous. Don't think small. We were able to bring people to the park for a 3-day festival, and not including their accommodation and their food. The cost for the full weekend was £130. That's very competitive. But we were only able to do that because of the numbers we had. If we had had 20 people, it would have been a lot more expensive per person because the universal hall costs the same, whether you've got 20 people or 200 people. The sound engineer costs the same. The videographer costs the same. So be bold in thinking about your numbers. Get a good website and get your website out there. 35 years ago, somebody said to me, having a website isn't enough. Simply having a website that can't be found is a bit like having a shop in a jungle at midnight with the lights off and the shutters down. You've got to get your website seen. You've got to connect with people and drive people to your website. Put out a hook and direct them to your website. Give them the information on your website. Because Facebook posts, you see them one day and then a week later you can't find them again. There's so many of them. Put something on your website right at the beginning about a declaration of interest. Don't ask people to commit to booking up immediately. Ask them to declare an interest that they might be willing. So get them to fill out an online form, a Google form, without any commitment. Don't tell them too much on your website. You'll lose them. Tell them what's happening, when it's happening, where it's happening.
At the moment in the park, there's a lot of debate over which is like the organisation that should be running all the workshops and the conferences. Is it Ecovillage Findhorn? Is it the Findhorn Foundation Skio? Is it this? Is it that? And what do you say to that? You know, this idea that we're waiting for some organisation to start like being the foundation, I guess, again, running stuff in the park.
That's a very good question. A facilitator doesn't have to be good at marketing. A therapist doesn't need to be good at building websites. So use other people to plug the gaps in your own knowledge base. I think we've been spoiled for decades at the park. We had the foundation who were doing everything. So if you wanted to put on a workshop, the skills were there within the foundation. The booking system was there within the foundation. We might need an umbrella group or organisation to do practical things like booking, insurance, marketing. I'm not really sure what organisation that should be. Should it be the SKIO? Should it be EF? Should it be the Education Circle? But what I'm certain of is we need to get it done. Findhorn likes meetings. Meetings about having meetings. And then meetings to discuss the outcome of meetings. And I personally have become very frustrated with that over the last 2 years. I mean, I was actually at a meeting to discuss when to hold a meeting. Now, this actually happened to me.
Alec was in the foundation.
How long was this meeting?
Well, I was going to say that the meeting that was being arranged was for a single topic. And when it did eventually happen, it took 15 minutes. But the meeting, to arrange the meeting, took 45 minutes. And there were more people at the meeting to arrange the meeting
Than were at the meeting.
than were able to attend the actual meeting. We need to do things. So whatever umbrella organisation takes on this responsibility, we need to do it soon. It might be that it will be better with individuals within community offering their services as a paid service, so somebody who does reasonably priced web design, somebody who does a booking system, somebody who does catering, somebody who does the organisation of accommodation. It might be better that way rather than a blanket organisation. Sometimes organisations can become top-heavy. And sometimes people who work for organisations don't own the project. So I don't know the answer to the question about where we should be going, but what I'm certain of is we should be going somewhere soon.
And in the meantime, on the Monday following our amazingly successful weekend that absolutely, it so fulfilled us in the execution of it and in the superb energy that we created from all the people who came. On the Monday morning, we were talking to Peter Moss, who was one of the star performers. We're talking to Saz, we're talking to other folk. Ken was wandering about in a bit of a post-festival daze, and I was just down there at the Phoenix having a coffee and saying goodbye to folk. And I just said to Peter, we need to start thinking about the next one. And it would be lovely to have you back, Peter. It would be lovely to have Saz back, because there's a nice sense of continuity from the first to the second festival. But we also need some new people. Can you recommend? So he recommended a couple of people, and he said, look, I'll phone this guy, Andy. He's a good mate of mine. So there we were, 10 o'clock in the morning on the Monday after the first festival. Peter Moss hands me the phone, and I'm talking to a guy who is, again, one of the national stars of the ukulele world, at least in the UK, if not worldwide. He did a music degree in Cambridge. He's been playing ukulele since he was about 10, and he is a bit of a big star out there. So we had a chat. We talked about some dates, and he said, yeah, on Peter's recommendation, he would really love to come to Findhorn. And we had to juggle around with dates after that. Because of the Findhorn Bay Arts Festival in September, we wouldn't be able to run the next festival in the same month. And we managed to secure a weekend in June, the first weekend, from the 5th to the 7th next year. And Peter's coming, and Saz is coming, and Andy Eastwood is coming. And on top of that, we've been deluged by emails now, because Peter and Saz and Andy are putting it out on their websites that they're coming to Findhorn next year. We've now been deluged by top stars in the ukulele world internationally who say, oh, we hear you're running a really good festival at Findhorn, we'd like to come. And we have the privilege of being able to say to these people with deepest humility, thank you very much for being in touch, but we'll keep you in mind for future festivals. So we might have to start planning festivals over the next 5 years. We might need to make a bit of a business plan. And we do know from the international scene that we've now experienced that people are being booked ahead 2 to 3 years, because that is how it is. We're even talking already with Universal Hall about securing dates in 2027, because if 2026 is going to be another success, then it's almost as though we need to be running 2 festivals in parallel and booking performers, because if we want our festival to go from strength to strength, as anybody would if they're running a successful event, then we want to ensure that the people we'd like to have as our guest performers are going to be available for us and not be swallowed up by other competing festivals, because there are some really amazing ones in England. And we have to be prepared to get the names. So that's the plan.
So the Ukulele Festival for 2026, we're really allowing 9 months. We did most of it within the first month. But you've really got to be ahead of the game, particularly when it comes to booking venues, catering, accommodation. So that's one thing I would say to people. Plan well. That old saying, isn't it? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So good planning, sitting down, getting a big book and writing things down in it. Follow the logic of all the things that need to be done. Insurance, health and safety, catering, accommodation. These are all apart from what you're doing as a facilitator, but they all have to be thought about. I'm very fortunate. I'm married to a wonderful administrator who has that type of mind. I don't. I just have an idea, and then I say to Susie, wouldn't it be good if we held a ukulele festival? And then she deals with all the emails and all the communication, the administration. So if you want to succeed, partner up with a good administrator.
Thanks. And pay her well. And pay her very well.
Yes, and pay her. I think
Good
this is
retainer.
another thing that's important.
Yeah.
Can I say this about the festival? From the outset, we were going to pay people. Often, work being love in action translates to do something for nothing. But the photographer, the videographer, the sound engineer pays the same for electricity at home and gas at home. The musician certainly pays the same. The people who are stage managing pay the same for all the utilities. So pay people. Don't expect them to do it for nothing. We paid everyone. And we paid over the odds. This is, I'm a member of the Musicians Union, and this is something I feel very strongly about, that we should be paying people a reasonable rate. As the scripture says, a labourer is worthy of his hire. If you want a job done well, pay someone to do it well. And I really feel quite strongly about that. So we paid everyone, and we put as much money. I did an economic survey, impact survey of the Ukulele Festival, and it came in about £62,000. I would say 80% of it was spent at the park or in the local area. So we put our catering to the Phoenix Cafe. We had our evening social events in the Phoenix Cafe. We put a lot of people to camp at the campsite at the park. We encouraged people to buy at the shop. We put people into bed and breakfasts at the park. We employ community members to do tasks rather than bringing people from out with to do the tasks. And we need that income at the park. We really need to get this in order. Because if we don't, the park will fail. We need to get people here. We need to generate income for the community as a whole and for individuals within the community. I do feel quite strongly about that.
Okay,
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I'll wrap up there. Thank you for...
I hope that's enough for you, and I hope it's on target. Like I blether too much.
No, Ken, you were actually, I think it was very good. You were. Where's the songbook? A Findhorn Festival songbook?
I don't know any of that.
You do so. Come on, play something.